Now that we understand view control from the last video, there's just one more thing we need to do to be fully prepared to start on the second level. And it begins with things like this. You probably notice that I've got this great big gap right here. When we look at it in 3D, it looks like this. And what I want you to do on your own project at this point is really study it, compare it to the picture of the original home that you're drawing, and try to determine which of these walls should extend all the way up to the roof. That's like this one. Its top constraint is roof. And which of these walls should stop short and just go up to the top of wall. Now, this is a really hard thing to do, and you don't have to get it all right. Just try something for now. For me, when I study my picture, I know that the garage is all just one story, and the roof, covers these walls at that point, and then the other part of the roof is up higher. So these are all two-story walls. Now, not every house is going to be that simple. Some of them may actually have a one-story, and that would mean that it goes up to top of wall here, and they jump almost immediately to a two-story wall, but not in this fashion, because the roof comes down and gets in the way. So over here you would see roof right over the top of one story or one level, and then over here you would see the roof on the rise. So it's sloping up, creating some kind of a triangular shape in this wall that you can't see right now, but certainly not something like this, not a rectangle. It's got to get from level 1 and slope up to level 2. So if you have that, just leave this wall, the one that would be triangular, leave it at the top constraint for level roof. Okay, and then this one over here will look better once we actually put that roof on. And go around the whole building and just, again, do the best that you can. Okay, mine is two-story all the way, so I got to leave that. But over here, I do have a problem where I can't just extend this wall up. Even if there is some wall here that's 2 stories, if I were to extend this one up to the roof, that's not going to look right. There's no siding there. The other thing you might be tempted to do is, let's just go open it up in the second level. And currently I have my underlay turned off, so I just see the second level walls. And you might want to do something like a trim. Here, let's put the 3D side by side so you can see what this is going to do. I messed that up. Okay. What happens is I'm going to trim this wall. The shortcut for that, by the way, is TR. I'm going to trim this wall with this wall. And first of all, you get an error, because it says now you have walls overlapping, and even if you dismiss it, you find, oh shoot, I've got 2 walls on top of each other, and one of them has siding inside the garage. Okay, so I'm going to hit undo for that. That's not the solution. So what is the solution? Well, what I would do here is I would go up to the second level only, and I need to finish the enclosure for exterior walls here, so I'm going to draw that wall, but only on this level. And that would mean that it will start drawing up higher, up on the second level. If we kind of study where these levels exist, because this name corresponds with that level, that would mean that when I start drawing walls in this plan, they start at the bottom here, and they should extend up to the roof, just like the other 2-story walls. Okay, so I would prefer to do this just by selecting the wall here and typing in CS for create similar, and that just brings up the same wall type over in my type selector. The next thing I would do is pay attention to what's my location line. It says it's the finished face of the interior wall, so I would like the interiors to match up. So I start going this way with my cursor, only to find, gosh, it's putting the wall on the wrong side. Hit the space bar, flips it around, and now we're good. Okay, and I should have paid attention to this, but if you look over here in the properties, the base constraint was second floor. The top constraint was roof when I started drawing, which means this wall is going to be created correctly. Okay, I'll go to here. It looks like it joined up properly for me. Let's see how it did in 3D. Perfect. Okay, if it doesn't join up for you, you could always just trim those. But I like what I see here. With one exception, you might find things like this where there's strange gaps. Well, that gap is only there because there needs to be floor structure eventually. In the real world, this wall is going to get built on top of a floor. a whole bunch of floor structural pieces. So that gap will get filled in at some point. We don't need to worry about it just yet. Okay, if you have a house with a second story that's entirely enclosed inside of an attic, then your preparation is simple. You don't have any walls that show up here on the second floor. Okay, they might show up when you have the underlay turned on, but you don't have to draw any walls like I did, or like this. If your entire second floor is enclosed inside of an attic, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, the other thing that we all might have to worry about though is the stairs. And I want to show you a picture of my first floor plan. This is what it looks like, and you can see there's a wall here, then some kind of an opening and a column, and then on this side there's just a wall all the way across. Now let's compare that to the second level, where here's the stairs, same wall on that side. Over here, that's not a wall, might look like one, that's just a railing. And so what that means is this wall is directly on top of this wall, so they would extend up all the way. And you wouldn't need to go through your whole house and find walls that line up like this. I wouldn't do that, but I would look at the stairs. I would just look at the stairs and say, if there's one wall that occurs on the same side in both of these, then it's a two-story wall. So I'm just going to go back and select that wall. Let's see, in my plan, it's this wall right here. And I would tell that one that it needs to go all the way up to the roof. Seems strange that an inside wall is going up to the roof, but it's just, to the point where the roof out here would touch the walls. Same height for this interior wall. Now I probably should do the same thing here, except that that's a plumbing wall and it doesn't need to be a 2x6 all the way up on both levels. So I think I'll leave that one alone for now, and I've just got the one that's extended all the way up. Okay, that's your preparation. If you can get through that, then you're ready for the next video where we start drawing that second floor.